What if Naruto was in Uchiha Part 3? Let's go. Now, Naruto had unlocked the secret power. Well, not quite secret, but the incredibly powerful power. The amazing eyesight of the Uchiha. The Eye of the Sharingan. Shisui and even Itachi helped Naruto train his Sharingan. And Naruto does actually end up mastering the Sharingan, including its 3 Tomoe stage, in a time faster than Itachi did himself. Naruto learns incredibly quickly, and learns to control his emotions to a degree, so that he's able to tap into the power of the 3 Tomoe. Now, that gives him much better odds in a sparring match, even if Shisui did now start using his own Sharingan in their sparring matches as well, as before he held back and didn't quite do that since he thought that was kind of, not quite fair. But now since they both have a Sharingan, Naruto is even more amazed by Shisui's incredible powers, including his visual ones. Now, quite some time passes, but eventually we see ourselves in the time when Danzo Shimura tries to kill Shisui and manages to take one of his eyes. Luckily, Naruto and Itachi get to the rescue. Naruto helps Shisui get away with his injury, now that he's bleeding from his eye. Meanwhile, Itachi was trying his best to hold off Danzo and his men, though would later retreat as well, as he didn't want to fight all of them combined, as they would likely also get backup. And then, for any shinobi, it would be game over. Now, whilst Itachi is still occupied fighting Danzo and his subordinates, Shisui decides to do something unimaginable. Instead of trying to fight on and surviving, he decides to rip his other eye out as well, and gives it to his student and unrelated brother. Almost adopted, you could say. Naruto receives the eye of Shisui and is told that after Shisui dies, he's supposed to implant it in his own eye. Naruto somehow believes that this is a joke. There's no way he's being serious. This has to be a dream, a nightmare. It's Tsukuyomi. Itachi must be pulling a prank or something. This can't be reality. But before he can think any farther, Shisui jumps backwards as they were on a cliff, and as you can imagine, dies in the process. After impact, Shisui's body lies there, as if sleeping on the ground, facing upwards, looking at the sky, begging for mercy, with tears and blood in his face. Yet completely emotionless, Shisui is dead. Naruto lets out a roar that can be heard from far away. Birds fly up from the trees, far, far away, and seek shelter. Naruto can't control himself anymore. He stares at the ground, at Shisui's body, wondering what happened. Was it my fault? He started crying, more and more, and his Sharingan activated. But it kept getting worse. He started having a headache, and crying more and more, and in the matter of seconds, he felt pain unimaginable, and his eyes felt like they were burning with passion. Burning like hell. Burning out of remorse. As they started to twist and turn and spin around, his tomoe elongated, and Naruto achieved the state known as the Mangekyo Sharingan Eye. His crying immediately stopped, as all water on his face evaporated, as if he was truly on fire. He felt like it, and without even thinking about it, without any control, without any sense of pain, Naruto pulled out his right eye and put in Shisui's. After that, he collapsed. He was found by Itachi, and then woke up when Itachi started crying, looking down at the canyon with Shisui in it. Itachi was staring at Shisui's lifeless body, just like Naruto had only minutes prior, and all the emotions started to get back to Naruto. Suddenly, he felt normal again. Normal as in he felt in control of his own body, but still mourning over his dead friend and teacher. Itachi's eyes seemed to have a similar thing happen to them as Naruto's did, and now Itachi stopped crying as well. But his tears didn't evaporate like Naruto's. They just go wiped away, just like the emotions in Itachi's face. He returned back with a smile and decided, "Let's go home, Naruto." Naruto started crying once more, but decided and agreed. Staring at his body would not make him come back to life. And if somehow Itachi found the will to smile, then Naruto would try his best to do that as well. Their wounds slowly healed, wounds being the mental ones, the image imprinted in their head of Shisui's body. They started to train with their new eyes, the Mangekyo, that is. They both had it in both of their eyes, just that Naruto had a special one in his right eye, Shisui's, and he kept that one dear to him. It was the one and only thing he had, physically that is, of Shisui. But little did he know that over the time, he had grown to what Shisui could have only asked for as a student. Now, after a very short time of training with their new eyes, they realized that there was massive backlash from using it. They realized there was an ability, the Amaterasu. Now, Naruto did have it, but Itachi's was much, much more powerful. Now, obviously, they didn't use it against each other, as they found out that it was a fire that would never extinguish and was incredibly powerful. But they trained with that a little bit, but Itachi's eyes started to bleed, and so did Naruto's left one. And when it got really worse, really bad, they even had temporary blindness. Though that was only for a few minutes, right after training. So they decided to completely abandon that kind of training and to completely stop and only use it in actual fights when they truly needed to, as it would be their ace up their sleeve. Last minute possibility to win a battle. Now, probably the immediate question would be, why didn't they just switch their eyes and both get Eternal Mangekyo Sharingans, the most powerful eye they could? But, well, I'm gonna explain it more in the future. But for now, just know they didn't do that. Purposefully. They didn't. Now we skip ahead quite a lot, almost a year. Now during this period, a lot of things had happened, including Naruto, Sasuke, and Itachi all finding out that, well, Naruto is not technically part of their family. Now, Itachi did actually know that Sasuke was, well, his real brother, and Naruto wasn't. But Sasuke and Naruto didn't. So it was a huge shock, and Naruto was incredibly sad for a month. He didn't want to train with Itachi, he didn't want to play with Sasuke, and he barely stayed at the house. But with time, him and Mikoto talked a lot about Naruto's real parents, since she knew them very well. She talked about Minato and how wonderful he was, and how he was the fourth Hokage as well. She talked about Kushina, the last remaining Uzumaki, and how he now carried on that bloodline. And Naruto learned many cool things about his parents, but didn't know what to do with himself. He wasn't truly Itachi or Sasuke's brother, and he wasn't technically Mikoto or Fugaku's son. So, did he really belong in their family? Yeah, sure, their parents were friends, but is that really a reason for him to live there? By the way, a quick notice, Naruto does not know anything about the Nine Tails yet. Now, obviously, he knows that it exists, but he doesn't know that it's inside him. Just a quick info, you could say. Now, on the night of the massacre perpetrated by Itachi, Naruto was training with Itachi during the afternoon and was told to stay there for a while until Itachi told him otherwise, whilst Sasuke was just playing with his friends. Now, Naruto waited 2 hours, but then decided to go home. He was done with whatever Itachi had in mind and wasn't going to put up with it. Though, when he came home and opened the door, he saw Itachi just having pierced his father's chest with his sword. Naruto was immediately put in a genjutsu by Itachi and was left unconscious for long enough for Itachi to have left the village without a trace left. Naruto decides to make it his mission to find Itachi again and ask him about that fateful night, and eventually end him for having ended his family. Now, looking at both of his parents dead, Naruto decides to do something similar to what Shisui did. He takes Fugaku's eyes, as he saw that a Mangekyo was activated, even though he was dead. In Naruto's mind, it was likely due to a struggle between Fugaku and Itachi, which led to Fugaku's death. Naruto only takes one eye, as he keeps Shisui's eye in his right eye, and now had 2 different EMSs, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingans. Finally, Naruto faints once more, as all of this was way too much for him. He now wakes up in a hospital. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!